Hi everyone, a very good morning and I welcome you all to Hindu and Indian Express newspaper analysis discussion video. So guys, let's get started. Please first of all confirm that voice as well as video both are clear to everyone. Also we tried streaming in the early morning today but there was some technical issues that came. But I hope that everything is fine now. Okay, so please confirm first that video and audio both are clear. Now, in this particular session, we are going to cover entire 1 week's current affairs. And for that purpose, we are going to cover Indian Express Hindu newspaper, Indian Express and Hindu newspaper. Also, attachments from PIB and other sources we are going to cover. Now, this particular session is divided in two parts, that is articles relevant for prelims examination and articles relevant for mains examination. And you will find this particular document on our Telegram channel. Link for Telegram channel you'll find in the description box in YouTube. So let's get started with this particular video. Now, first article guys that we are going to take is e-Samridhi portal. E-Samridhi portal. So what has happened recently? Union Minister of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare has asked the states that the state should encourage farmers so that they get registered on the e-Samridhi portal. Now, what is this e-Samridhi portal? We need to know about that first. Now, guys, understand this particular thing that government is giving the MSP, that is minimum support price. Now, when we talk about minimum support price, what is this entire concept of minimum support price? Let's understand it little bit. Okay, so see this particular thing. Now, minimum support price is price assurance that is given by government to the farmers. Now, this particular price is that minimum price on which farmers can sell their produce to the government of India. Now, minimum support price regimen got started way back in 1960s. So basically, there was L.K. Jha committee and M.L. Dantwala committee. L.K. Jha committee, L.K. Jha committee, and M.L. Dantwala committee. Now, these committees were the first committees in 1964 and 1965, which early suggested, these are the earliest committees that suggested an MSP-like kind of a system. Now, as we talk about the MSP presently, so as of now, for 23 crops, MSP is announced by the government. Now, what are the major broad classifications in these 23 crops? So basically, MSP is being given for cereals, it is being given for pulses, cereal, pulses, it is being given for oil seeds and for certain commercial crops MSP is given. In total 23 crops are covered. Okay. Now we have Commission for Agricultural Cost and Prices, CACP, Commission for Agriculture Cost and Prices. Now it recommends MSP for every crop every year. Now this particular MSP, CACP advises to the government and government union cabinet, then finally it approves that what will be the actual MSP that will be given to the farmer. And this is declared before the sowing season. It is declared before the sowing seasons so that the farmer can take their decision and then they can sow a particular kind of a crop. Now, one more thing is that for sugarcane also we issue a kind of a minimum price, but that is called as FRP, fair remunerative price. So for sugarcane FRP is issued, and for all these different categories MSP is issued. Now if you can see that there is one particular category that is pulses. Now this e-Samridhi portal that we are going to discuss is with respect to the pulses. Now those particular farmers which want to sell their pulses to government under MSP, they can register on this particular e-Samridhi portal, and once they have sold their produce, they will get money automatically credit in their linked bank account, in the link bank account. Now, when we talk about this particular e-Samridhi portal, so which are the organizations that have launched this particular e-Samridhi portal for prelims examination? You need to know it. You need to know it. So basically, there are the two organizations that have launched it. Number one is NEFED. Now, NAFED stands for National Agricultural Cooperative Marketing Federation of India Limited. And then along with the NAFED, one more is there, that is National Cooperative Consumers Federation of India Limited. Now, this NAFED happens to be one very important body because NAFED is responsible for agricultural marketing in India. Now, agricultural marketing in India. Now, when we talk about the NAFED, little bit more. So basically, NAFED, it was established way back in 1958, and it operates under which act? You need to know that. So it operates under Multi-State Cooperative Societies Act, Multi-State Cooperative Societies Act, and its headquarter, where it is located? Its headquarter is located in New Delhi. Now, in order to get registered on e-Samridhi portal, what a farmer can do? So a farmer can get registered here either through directly, or if a farmer does not have technical know-how as how to get registered directly, they can also enroll through primary agricultural credit societies, which are the cooperatives at the village level, or through farmer producer organization. What are farmer producer organization? They are the union where a lot of farmers come together and collectively they involve in agriculture and related practices. So either through FPAs or FPOs, sorry, or through primary agriculture credit societies, PACS, or directly farmers can register here. So one thing just you need to keep in mind, that it is launched for whom? It is launched for the e-Samridhi portal, so the farmers can tell their pulses. Now moving on, and let's take the next topic that we have here. So next topic that we have here is Seine River. Seine River. So recently Seine River was in news. Now why Seine River is in news? Let's understand that first of all. So basically, guys, you already might be knowing this particular thing, that now in 2024 Olympic Games are going to be held in France. So because now the 2023 Olympic Games are going to be held in France. Now you see this particular thing. Just, yes. So 2024 Olympics are going to be held in France. Now France, they have two most important rivers. One is the Loire. One is Loire, and Loire is one of the longest river of France. And after the Loire, there is a Seine River. Now this Seine River, it passes through Paris. Seine River, it passes through Paris. And this particular river has been very polluted, particularly E. coli bacteria. E. coli. It is 10 times more than what is the safe limit in this particular water. So Seine River, it has been used as a dump yard where agricultural waste, industrial waste, even the sewage has been released without any environmental safeguard. And now Paris said that before the Olympic Games, we will make the water of Seine River swimmable. We want to make this particular river swimmable, but a lot of money they have spent, and it doesn't seems that they will be able to make this particular river swimmable for the Olympic Games. So therefore Seine River was in news. Now if guys you see here, so here we have the map of France. Here we have map of France. So little bit you need to understand the locations. So here we have France. Now in the north of France we have English Channel. Then further we have United Kingdom. Then towards the western side of France, there is Bay of Biscay. And towards the southern side of France, there is Mediterranean Sea. There is Mediterranean Sea. Now, this river here, it is the Seine River. It is Seine River. Now, this Seine River is passing through Paris, and where it is draining, it is draining in English Channel. It is draining in English Channel. Okay. So, this is all about it, and which area it is on the northern part. Fine. So that is all about it. I hope you have understood it. Beyond that, you need not to do. Beyond that, you need not to go and see which cities it is passing and all such kind of things. It is not important. Okay. Moving on. Moving on in this particular capacity. The next article. Next article is about the Vadhavan port that was in news. So what has happened recently, the cabinet, Union Cabinet has approved establishment of the Vadhavan port project in Maharashtra. Now, before going in the Vadhavan port project, first of all, let's understand few basic things first, and then we'll go in this Vadhavan port project. Now, guys, you see, first of all, India right now is engaging in many international platforms. For example, international partnerships. There is IMEC. IMEC. IMEC stands for International Middle East Europe Economic Corridor. Now, this IMEC, here the countries such as India will be connected to the Middle East, then Middle East, Dubai, Saudi Arabia, and then from there we will be connected to Europe. Now, why this IMEC has been brought? It has been brought so that we can bypass the Red Sea and the Suez Canal, bypass the Red Sea and Suez Canal. Let me show you also here on the map so that you can better connect with that. Okay, so let me show you here on the map also. Okay, so there's something else. Okay, fine. So here you can see that basically traditionally, if we want to go to Europe, what is the usual route that is taken for Europe? So it's like this, that what we are going to do, we are going to here, will find from Babel Mandam and all, will enter here the Red Sea, then through the Red Sea, Gulf of Suez will enter the Europe. This was the route that is being taken. But now we want to bypass this particular route because, for example, here you have Yemen, and in Yemen we find that there are Houthi rebels that are attacking ships which are going in the Red Sea area. And usually also there is a lot of insurgency, etc., that is going on in these particular African countries. So therefore, an alternative route was needed. And what happened? This IMEC corridor, India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor, was announced. Now, why this particular port? What will do? Will India will be connected with the UAE, then within UAE, Saudi Arabia, fine, Israel, this particular network will be made. So ports will be constructed across these countries. There will be the railways that will be constructed. There will be highways that will be constructed. Now, basically for this IMEC corridor, India is constructing a new port. India is constructing a new port. And for that, this particular port, it is important. One thing. Also, guys, there is one more initiative, that is INSTC, International North-South Transit Corridor. Transit Corridor. I'll show you that also. INSTC, International North-South Transit Corridor. Fine, INSTC. Okay, International North-South Transport Corridor. Now, you see this particular thing. Okay, so I will open this particular picture. Fine. Okay, let's open this particular picture. Now, basically, guys, if you see India, if it wants to trade with Russia, fine, this picture is here. Now see, India wants to trade with Russia. So basically, what is the present route that we take? So again, we'll pass through the Red Sea, then the Suez, then Mediterranean Sea, then all the way through North Sea, Baltic Sea. Then this is the present route that we have if we want to trade with the Russia. Okay, this is one. Now, this has certain problems. Number one, this particular route is very much lengthy. And secondly, guys, right now, India is also focusing on Central Asian region. India is also focusing the Central Asian region. So for reaching Central Asia, this particular route becomes even more lengthy. So basically, there is this INSTC, International North-South Transport Corridor, whose idea has been conceived. So this INSTC, it will pass like this: St. Petersburg, then Moscow, fine, then Astrakhan, then here it will go through the Caspian Sea, then Iran, and then with the India, So basically for this also, India needs a new port. So INSTC, International North-South Transport Corridor, and IMEC, India Middle East Europe Economic Corridor. Fine. Now, one thing is that as of now, Kandla port of Gujarat and JNPT port of Mumbai, they were being proposed. But as the quantum of shipments will increase, we will need an additional deep sea port. What is a deep sea port? Deep sea port can harbor big ships. It can harbor the big ships. So we will need the deep sea port. And for that particular thing, what has happened for that particular thing? This particular Vadhavan port is being initiated. Now, this is going to be a greenfield deep-seated port. Greenfield project, there was a question also that came on the greenfield projects this particular year. Greenfield projects are those projects which are constructed from the scratch. And where it is situated? It is situated in the Palghar district of Maharashtra. Palghar district of Maharashtra. Now, this particular port is being constructed on PPPP model, that is a public-private partnership model, where the government and private sector both come together and jointly they initiate a particular project. Now, for this particular project, what is happening? There is a special purpose vehicle that is created. Now, what is this special purpose vehicle? You need not to get scared by the name. Special purpose vehicle, uh, it is an entity, a body, a company that is created just for executing a special purpose, and once that particular purpose is executed, it might be it might be dissolved. So a special purpose vehicle, a special body, that is Vadhavan Port Project Limited, has been created, and in this particular body there are two stakeholders, that is the Jawaharlal Nehru Port Authority, which has 74% stake, and Maharashtra Maritime Board. Now, how much percentage stake each are having? Not that much important for your examination. So, this particular port will also be integrated with Delhi-Mumbai Expressway. So, Delhi-Mumbai Expressway, it is also being constructed. It will be constructed with, it will be connected, integrated with Delhi-Mumbai Expressway, and will be a gateway for the India, Middle East, Europe corridor I just discussed, and INSTC corridor that I discussed. Also, this particular project, it is the part of Sagarmala initiative. Now, in the Sagarmala initiative, we want to develop the robust infrastructure around the coastline. Okay, so port infrastructure, upgradation of port terminals, it is being taken. So, it is a part under Sagarmala initiative. Okay, so I hope that you have understood it. Then next article that we have is Javelin anti-tank missile, that was in news. So Javelin anti-tank missile was in news. Now where this Javelin anti-tank missile, let's discuss about it. So Javelin anti-tank missile, recently it was a test fired when during US Philippines exercise that was going on. Now you see this particular thing, when we talk about Philippines, Philippines is having active disputes with China on South China Sea. And USA is also having rivalry with China. So Philippines having rivalry with China, USA having rivalry with China. So China factor brings US and Philippines together. So basically what has happened, so in a military exercise, they have utilized this Javelin anti-tank missile. Now this particular missile is this particular missile as we talk about it, it is a man-portable, shoulder-fired, anti-tank guided missile. Man-portable. Now see, some missiles can be carried on your shoulder, and from, like, see, we have a gun which is not that much heavy, lightweight. Then there are the missiles which are to be launched by the special type of launchers, which are often either mounted on trucks or they are ground-based. But they are portable. You can carry and you can fire it, and it is a anti-tank missile. Which type of missile? It is an anti-tank missile. Now, it has been developed by whom? It has been developed by the American defense companies, Raytheon and Lockheed Martin. Name is not that much important, but not India manufactured, not Philippines manufactured. It is US manufactured. It is US manufactured. Now, further moving on. Now, this particular missile, this particular missiles as we talk about, it is also equipped with the fire and forget technology. Fire and forget technology. Now, what is the fire and forget technology? What is fire and forget technology? So means that once you have launched a missile, you need not to actively guide it. Okay, automatically it will find its way and will hit the target. Okay, moving on. Next is International Sugar Organization. So International Wheat Organization question was asked already this particular year. So International Sugar Organization. Now, what is this? Why it was in news? Because recently India has hosted the International Sugar Organization Council meeting, where in New Delhi. So recently India has hosted the meeting of International Sugar Organization, ISO. Hosted the meeting of ISO, International Sugar Organization, where it is in Delhi. Now, when we talk about this particular body, few things you need to know. Number one, it is an intergovernmental body which is dedicated for improving the conditions in global sugar market. It is a body under UN. Fine, this is something very many times it is asked. So it operates under the United Nation. Now this particular body has 85 members, and these 85 members are 85 countries. These 85 countries, they constitute 90% of the world's sugar production. They constitute 90% of the world's sugar production. That is one thing. Now, is India a member? Yes. Now, this year International Wheat Council question that came, it was asked that you have to be the member of it in order to export wheat. So when we talk about this International Sugar Organization, do you need to be the member of it if you have to export? No, that thing is not there. Now this particular ISO, what it does, it administers the International Sugar Agreement of 1992. It aims to enhance international cooperation on sugar related issues. It is a forum for intergovernmental consultation on sugar, how to improve the accessibility, information, knowledge, all it is shared. Where it is a headquarter is in London. Headquarter is in London. This year meeting is being hosted by whom? This year meeting is hosted by India. Fine. So I hope that this is clear to all. Now, moving on to next article. Lake Natron. Lake Natron. So recently Lake Natron was in news. So in the places in news category, this will be an important article. So let's discuss about the Lake Natron. So first of all, what is the location of Lake Natron? So Lake Natron is located on the eastern side of African Great Rift Valley. It is located on the continent of Asia. My apologies. It is located on the continent of Africa. In the Africa, there is the Great Rift Valley, Great African Rift Valley. Eastern part of the Great African Rift Valley, this particular lake is located, and this lake is located on the boundary between two countries. Which two countries? Kenya and Tanzania. So this is the boundary between Kenya and Tanzania, and here on the boundary of Kenya and Tanzania, this Lake Natron, it is located. Now this Lake Natron, it has a red color water. It has a uniquely red color water, and you might see it on the pictures also on internet if you want. Now this Lake Natron, it is under threat. Now this Lake Natron, it is a salt lake. It has a lot of concentration of salt, and because of pollution, because of declining water level, what is happening? Flamingo population. Now flamingos, a large number of flamingos come on this particular lake. So flamingo population is going down, natural ecosystem is getting lost, water quality, it is becoming very bad. Now Lake Natron, so it is also a Ramsar site. So 1971 Ramsar Convention was signed in Iran, and as per the Ramsar Convention, certain wetlands or the sites of ecological importance, they are recognized. So it is a site recognized under the Ramsar Convention, and also it has a mix of salt, caustic soda, magnesite, fine, which creates a alkaline environment. Alkaline environment. Now, because of this alkaline water, it has a highly alkaline water. Other types of marine life might not be able to thrive here, but it is ideal condition for flamingo population. And if this particular lake would be lost, then there would be a decline that might come in flamingo population because it supports the flamingos. Also, now this particular lake, it is fed by which river? It is fed by the Evaso Negoro River. It is fed by Evaso Negoro River. Evaso Negoro River. Fine. I hope that you have understood it. Now moving on, and we have here next topic. Next topic is African swine fever. African swine fever. Now recently outbreaks of African swine fever were observed in Mizoram. African swine fever outbreak was observed where? It was observed in Mizoram. Now first of all, African swine fever, it transmits in both wild pig as well as the domesticated pig. The wild pig as well as a domesticated pig. Now, African swine fever, it is caused by a particular virus. What virus? Fine. SV virus. SV virus. Now, this SV virus belongs to the family Asparviridae. Asparviridae. So, SV virus is responsible for the African swine fever. It impacts pig population, both domestic pig as well as the wild pig. Now, what are the symptoms of this particular viral infection? Symptoms are fever, weakness, lack of appetite, inflamed eyes, red skin, fine, diarrhea, vomiting, all these are the conditions. Now, one particular thing might come in your mind, that whether this virus can transmit to humans also. So as of now, that uh, pig to human transmission has not been observed. So right now it is not threat to the human health. Obviously, this particular virus can survive for extended periods in the pork and pork products. Fine. Now, moving on, next article. So next article that we have here is a Saipan Island. Saipan Island again places in news category. Saipan Island. So recently Saipan Island was in news because you might be knowing about the Julian Assange. Julian Assange. So Julian Assange, he was the one who is the founder of WikiLeaks, etc. Okay. So what he did, he said that it came to the news that he is moving to that Saipan Island. So therefore, it came in the news. So Saipan Island, where these islands are situated, let's see that. So this particular island, now you see West Pacific Ocean. West Pacific Ocean. Now here, if you see, there is the group of islands. This group of island is called as a Northern Mariana Island. Northern Mariana Island. So approximately 14 islands are there in this group of island, that is the Northern Mariana Island. And in this group of 14 islands, there is one of an island, that is the Saipan Island. This is the largest island of this particular group, Northern Mariana Island. Where are located? Western Pacific Ocean. Now, when we talk about these particular islands, earlier they were colonized by the Spain. Then it came under the German occupation. Then it came under Japanese occupation. And then US took the possession of these particular islands. Fine. Then US took the possession. Now the residents of this particular island wants to be the formal part of the US territory. But as of now, they are not the part of the formal US territory. Fine. But this territory is represented in the US House of Representatives. Represented in the US House of Representatives. Now, moving on, and next article, Space MAITRI mission. Space MAITRI mission. So one thing, when it comes to the name, space means that there will be collaboration on space technology. Maybe there will be the technology transfer, knowledge exchange on the space technology, etc. So that is clear. Fine. Which two countries? It is between India and Australia. So Space MAITRI, MAITRI stands for Mission for Australia, India Technology Research and Innovation. Okay, so MAITRI stands for Mission for Australia, India's Technology Research and Innovation. Now, so this is initiative between India and Australia, and this particular initiative will enhance the collaboration on space sector. Now, space sector collaboration for commercial, institutional, and for governmental usages, it will be enhanced. Okay. Now, also, both US and India are combinedly going to perform debris management in space. Debris management in space. Now, what is this debris management and why it is needed to be performed? So, you see this particular thing that we find in space, there are a lot of satellites that are launched. These satellites, they complete their life, and once they complete their life, they just become a junk, and that junk, it is oscillating in space at very high speeds. Now this particular junk might collide with some operational satellites, and in that particular case, it might lead to a problem. Okay, fine. So it might lead to a problem. This is one issue that comes here. So therefore, the debris in space needs to be minimized. Now here, under this particular initiative, both India and Australia, they are moving jointly for the space debris management. Space debris management. Now, as a part of this particular initiative, India will help Australia for launching the Optimus spacecraft. Optimus spacecraft. Now, this Optimus spacecraft, it is Australia's largest domestically designed and built satellite. So Optimus, it is Australia's largest satellite. India will be launching it with the help of SSLV. Fine. Small Satellite Launch Vehicle. 2026 it will be launched. Which year it would be launched? It would be launched in 2026. Now, moving on to next article. Motor neuron diseases. Motor neuron diseases. So recently motor neuron diseases were in news. So what are motor neuron diseases? What are motor neuron diseases? Now you see this particular thing. What are motor neurons in our body? Motor neurons are responsible for both voluntary and involuntary muscle movement, contraction, etc. For example, I want to raise my hand. I raise my hand. This is my voluntary muscle movement. Fine. When I want, I can raise my hand. When I don't want, I might not raise it. But then there are other involuntary movements also in your body that are going on. Your heart is it is beating. Now you are not controlling the movement of your heart. It is an involuntary movement. So throughout the body, there are a lot of voluntary and involuntary muscle movements that is going on. And for that, these motor neurons, they play a very important role. Now, what is motor neuron disease? It is a group of diseases. It is a group of diseases that impacts these motor neurons. These motor neurons. So basically, motor neurons, they are crucial for transmitting signals from the brain and spinal cord to muscle throughout the body. Now, what happens initially when these motor neuron diseases will start? There will be impairment. There will be restricted muscle activity and muscle movement. Over the period of time, as they will progress, it might lead to paralysis. Fine. So as of now, is there any treatment for these diseases? No, there is no definitive cure. There is no definite treatment. Only the patients suffering with them, they could be taken care at their homes. So care management is the only solution that's there. Fine. There is no clinical treatment. A minute. Fine. Moving on. The next we have here is Bhuvan Panchayat Geo-Portal 4.0. Bhuvan Panchayat Geo-Portal 4.0. So what has happened recently? Bhuvan Panchayat Geo-Portal 4.0 version has been launched. 4.0 version has been launched. Now what is this Bhuvan Panchayat Geo-Portal? You see this particular thing, guys, that government is running many initiatives. For example, what is to be done? Government is digitizing the land records. Government is digitizing land records. If you see, in the cases that are pending in the court, majority of cases are the civil disputes, and in the civil disputes, property disputes are a very big category. So basically, often the ownership of the land in villages, in rural areas is disputed. So government is trying to digitize the land records. Now what will be done? Geo, basically, suppose I have a particular land at a particular location. So geo coordinates of that particular location, okay, from this latitude to this latitude, this longitude to that longitude, geo coordinate of a particular location will be attached with my identity. We want to create the digital land records. So what we want? We want geospatial maps. We want those applications which can help in this particular thing. So we want geospatial maps. So basically, Bhuvan Panchayat Geo-Portal, it is an online platform developed by the National Remote Sensing Center. National Remote Sensing Center. And it will provide all the geographical spatial data. Fine. What it will provide? These tools are meant for visualization, will give detailed geographic and real-time maps would be provided to the panchayats, authorities. So planning can be done, visualization can be done. Fine. Okay, moving on. Okay, then there is one more database that has been launched, that is National Database for Emergency Management. National Database for Emergency Management. Now its fifth version, version 5.0 has been launched. Now what is this particular platform? So this is going to be a unified platform for situational assessment and effective decision making. Now you see this particular thing. Okay, so see this particular thing. Suppose there is a particular area where flood has come or landslide has come. So in real time, what is the level of water? In real time, what is the devastation? What is the devastation that has happened? Sir, will there be any other ethics batch for the crash after the crash course? We might plan for a foundation batch also for ethics. I'll let you know on the Telegram group. Okay, coming back. So suppose there is a flood that has happened, there is a landslide that has happened in an area. Now, what areas are submerged, what areas are blocked? We need to have a real-time awareness. All the time you cannot send a human, all the time you cannot send a team to assess that particular situation on the ground. It might be dangerous, it might take time. So for the real-time situational awareness, assessing what remedies to be taken in the times of disaster for effective decision making, this particular platform has been launched. It will give real-time information and will be helpful in disaster risk reduction. Okay. Also, it will be fine, and it will be uh, operating under integrated control room for emergency response, Ministry of Home Affairs. Next, Juno Probe. Juno Probe was in news. So basically, Juno Probe, what is this Juno? Juno is NASA's Juno is NASA's mission to study the Jupiter and its related satellite, that is moon. So basically, Juno Probe, who launched it? It was launched by NASA. It has provided new information with respect to the lava lakes on Jupiter's moon Io. So Jupiter's moon, by the name of Io, it has the lava lakes. This information has been given. Now, when we talk about this Juno project, its full name is Jupiter Near Polar Orbiter. Its full name is Jupiter Near Polar Orbiter. Who launched it? It was launched by NASA. And why it was launched? It was launched so that it can orbit around the Jupiter and can provide information with respect to Jupiter as well as information with respect to the Jupiter's moons. Jupiter's moons. Now, it was launched in 2011. It was launched in 2011 and it arrived in 2016. And since then, it has given information with respect to the cloud cover at Jupiter. Also, it has given information with respect to the environment. Now, life of this particular Jupiter, it got concluded in 2021, but it has been given an extension and will now continue till 2025. So, is this project culminated? No. Project was expected to be culminated in 2021, but now its life is extended till which year? Till 2025. So therefore, next year, if you are preparing for prelims examination, it's going to be an important one. Okay. Now, what discoveries it has made? It has found lava lakes on Io. I just told you. Jupiter's volcanic moon. Fine, it has found out. And also, it has given information with respect to geology of Jupiter. Geology of Jupiter. Now, moving on. Next, Krishi Katha platform. Krishi Katha platform. So recently, this Krishi Katha platform was in news. Now, what is this Krishi Katha platform? This platform will provide stories about the farmers, that how farmers brought a turnaround in the farming. If some farmer has done some innovation, if some farmer has found some better technology for utilizing the water, if some rainwater harvesting is going on. So this Krishi Katha platform, it will be a dedicated space. It will be a dedicated space to share farmers' experiences, to share farmers' insights and the success stories of farmers or entrepreneurs, etc. Okay? So now this particular platform will also help farmers, agricultural experts, policy makers. They can also use it as a repository. They can also use it as a repository. Fine. This is about the Krishi Katha platform. Now moving on, guys. Fine. We have from this particular week, guys, we have come out with this particular okay. So from this particular week, guys, what we have done, we have implemented one more additional feature, that is to give certain mains practice question based on the articles that we are going to take. So here, if you see, I have given these particular questions. So you will find it in the document that would be shared with you. So in total, I have given you 10 questions here. So try, first of all, read these particular articles that I am going to explain you here. And once you understand them, once you develop an understanding, then try to write your answers on these particular questions. Okay, that will help you in better understanding how to use an article in the examination. So let's get started. Okay. Now, first article that we are going to take here is India in Global Governance and Leadership within global south. So basically, guys, you see this thing that actually what has happened, there were multiple articles that were there in the examination, which are talking about that how India is emerging as the voice of global south, how India is emerging as the leader of the developing countries in the world. First of all, uh, uh, just a minute. Yes. First of all, let's understand a few points here. When we talk about global south, what do you mean by global south? So global south is a term that is used to refer to developing countries. It is a term that is used to refer to the developing countries because majority of developing countries you will found in the southern hemisphere. Now India is projecting it as a leader of the global south, and even global south summit was hosted by India. And in G20 also India emerged as the voice of the global south. Now, there are multiple institutions where India is emerging as a rule maker, as a norm follower. India is also suggesting at multiple platforms reforms that are needed to improve the global multilateral order. And in this particular article that I am just going to discuss, what I have done, I have included all the examples as how India is trying to lead the global governance, how India is leading multiple initiatives on the global stage. So very important article, and I believe that a direct question on this particular theme in GS paper number 2 IR might come here. Now you see this particular thing that India is emerging as the voice of global south. Now, one quotation, guys, I have taken here from S. Jaishankar. Now, the quotations this year, even prelims question was asked on the book of Mr. S. Jaishankar. Okay, why Bharat matters. Okay, so one quotation. So, Mr. S. Jaishankar said this thing that Europe has to grow out of the mindset that Europe's problem are world's problem, but the world's problem are not Europe's problem. Europe, Europe's outlook has become very much self-centric, self-serving. And here we need a country which genuinely bothers not about its own national interest, but about the global interest. And here India is emerging in this landscape. First of all, first example is that Prime Minister during the G20 summit that was hosted last year 2023, Prime Minister inaugurated Dakshin. Now, this article is going to be full of examples, and my point is that please ensure that you collect all these particular examples step by step. Please ensure that you collect all these examples step by step. So Prime Minister launched Dakshin. Dakshin stands for Development and Knowledge Sharing Initiative, fine, which also is called as Global South Center for Excellence. Now, what is this Development and Knowledge Sharing Initiative? You see, India has developed a lot of digital public infrastructure. What is this digital public infrastructure? So basically, guys, digital public infrastructure are those platforms which provide the facilities of governance, but through certain applications. Okay. For example, CoWIN platform was there. CoWIN platform was launched for the effective vaccine management. There is Arogya Setu for contact tracing. There is a DigiLocker through which there is DigiLocker. Oh, okay, there is Aadhaar. Aadhaar is virtual digital identity, though right now you have the physical Aadhaar, but it aims to serve as a digital virtual ID. So these are many online digital platforms that India has developed, which are being appreciated around the world. If you take example, India has worked on UPI, Unified Payment Interface, and the ease of online transactions or the digital transaction in India is unparalleled. It is one of the best in the entire world. So India wants that the countries which have done these innovations, they should share these innovation with the other countries. So Dakshin Development and Knowledge Sharing Initiative, where India will share the indigenous technologies, digital public infrastructure with the other countries. Then, if you see, India plays a very important role in lot of these bodies and institutions. Let's understand them in little bit more. Number one, India is actively present in United Nations, and in United Nations, India is talking about the reforms. Number one, we are founding members, and then we are talking about the Security Council reforms. We are talking about giving more democratic representation to the countries of Asia as well as to the Africa. So if you see, Africa is not represented in the in the UNSC. After that, from Asia, if we see, India's representation is not there. South America, Latin America is not adequately presented. So basically, fine, India is talking about the reform in the United Nations. Security Council expansion, India is talking about. Also, when we talk about the United Nations Security Council, recently India got elected to the non-permanent seat. India got elected to the non-permanent seat in the United Nations Security Council, and this is not the first time that India got elected. India has already been elected 7 times. Fine. So here, when India got elected in the UNSC non-permanent seat, what India focused on? India focused on counter-terrorism. It focused on sustainable development. So how in United Nations India has played an important role? We can see this. Then after that, we move to the next one. Then in WTO, India is playing an important role. So in WTO, what India is advocating? India is advocating the fair trade practices for the developing countries. Now you see this particular thing, guys, that actually what is happening. You see in WTO, developed countries want the market access. Developed country says to the developing country, you should reduce all the barriers. You should make easy for the global trade. This is the developed countries that are asking. Developing countries, they say that, okay, you listen, we don't have that much market expertise. If we will allow your products to enter in our country, your products will destroy our indigenous manufacturers. Okay. Also, developing countries want certain safeguards. So developing countries want safeguards, developed countries want the free market access. This is a dispute between the developed and developing countries that is going on. Then second dispute, developed countries says that remove all the subsidies which are counterproductive to the free trade. Okay, you are giving subsidies and artificially you are influencing the price. Okay, India and developing countries says that no. For example, India gives a lot of subsidies on agriculture products. India says that we are not giving subsidies so that our farmers can sell the product in international market and can influence the price. Our farmer is very poor farmer. Our farmer is marginal farmer. We need to give subsidies. So developing countries, they are giving subsidy to fishermen, they are giving subsidies to farmers. Developed countries call them as trade distortionary. And here India has emerged the voice of global south. Here India has emerged as the voice and the leader of the global south. Okay. Then at IMF and World Bank also. So at IMF and World Bank, India is talking that, you see, first of all, IMF and World Bank, their financing a lot times their financing has been directed towards the Western interest. So their financing now should be going towards the emerging economies also. Then at BRICS. Now guys, you see, first of all, when we talk about the BRICS, so recently there was an expansion that happened in BRICS. And in BRICS also we promote economic cooperation, development financing, financing the projects in the developing countries for the basic necessities. Then after that, SARC and BIMSTEC. Now though SARC is virtually dead because so many years have happened that not a single summit has happened in the SARC. But through BIMSTEC, we aim to promote the regional cooperation. Then after that, India is playing an active role in Indian Ocean Rim Association. And in Indian Ocean Rim Association, we are mobilizing the countries in the Indian Ocean on sustainability, knowledge sharing, protect to safeguard them from terrorism, sustainable development, security. Then there is the Quad. India is playing an important role in Quad also. So in Quad, we have 4 countries: India, US, Japan, and Australia. And Quad talks about the rule-based order. Quad talks about ensuring the infrastructure development in the Indo-Pacific region, containing the regional threats. So piracy is a very big threat in the Indo-Pacific, particularly the Indian Ocean and around the coast of Africa. So we aim to reduce that. Then after that, on climate change, sustainable development, and health security. These are the 3 most important issues in the 21st century. And here also, India is leading multiple initiatives. For example, on climate change, India is the founding member of International Solar Alliance, which nudges the countries between the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn, that they should develop majority of their electricity from solar. Okay. Then on sustainable development, India has already committed to UN Sustainable Development Goals. So SDGs, they are 17 goals, and in total 169 targets are embedded in these goals. So India has committed to SDGs, and also India's many national programs we have started in line with the SDG goals. For example, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan is integrated with SDGs. Jal Jeevan Mission, fine, which we have brought, which aims to provide the pipe drinking water by 2024. It also aims to fulfill the SDG targets. Then next we have is G20. So basically, guys, India is also emerging as a meaningful partner under the G20. India is also emerging as a meaningful partner under the G20. And recently, 2023 G20 was also hosted by India. And in G20, India focused on inclusive growth, digital transformation. Digital solutions should be provided to the developing countries. Sustainable development. Fine. Then in digital governance also, I told you that India, if you remember Dakshin initiative we have discussed, where India will provide its digital public infrastructure to the member countries. Then after that, on counter-terrorism, India is the vocal supporter of Convention on International Terrorism. Sorry, Comprehensive Convention on International Terrorism. Comprehensive Convention on International Terrorism. Now, you might find it strange. You might find it strange, but you see, you might find it strange, but you see this particular thing that we don't have even a single convention on international terrorism. There are around 13 sectoral conventions that are there on international terrorism, but one comprehensive convention dealing all the aspects of terrorism is not there. Since 1996, India is proposing CCIT, that is the Comprehensive Convention on International Terrorism. Okay, so then CDRI, Coalition for Disaster Resilience of Infrastructure, CDRI. Okay, so just a minute. So CDRI, Coalition for Disaster Resilience of Infrastructure, CDRI. It was launched in 2019, and it aims to promote the resilience of infrastructure in island nations, in vulnerable countries. Now you see this particular thing. For example, there is an island nation. That island nation has only one airstrip. Okay, and through that airstrip, it is connected with the world. Now, if a tsunami comes and if that airstrip is washed away, this country has lost 100% of its infrastructure, aviation infrastructure, because only one strip, if that is lost, you have lost all the connectivity with the world. So India will provide the knowledge, India will provide the technical expertise to such island nations which are vulnerable to these disasters, as how they can safeguard, how they can make their infrastructure resilient. Then there is Life Mission. There is Mission Life. Now, what is Mission Life? We launched this Mission Life in 2021, and it aims to promote sustainable consumption by the people. Now, if you are consuming, and if now see, a lot of carbon footprint is because of the consumption by the consumers. All the time you are demanding fast fashion, all the time you demand a lot of plastic for a lot of things. So it is leading to a lot of carbon emissions. So Life initiative, it aims to promote sustainable consumption by the citizens so that the carbon footprint of the world as a whole declines. It encourages individuals and communities so that they adopt to eco-friendly practices. The next is International Big Cat Alliance. So International Big Cat Alliance is proposed in 2023 to conserve the big cats across the range countries. So tigers, lions, leopards, fine, they will be protected. Then on renewable energy also, we have signed the partnerships, that is Clean Energy Ministerial has been initiated by India, and Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency Partnership has been taken up. Digital public goods, already I have discussed with you when I was discussing the CoWIN and Aadhaar. So these are, guys, all the initiatives. Now, a lot of examples I have given, and even if you can remember 6 out of these, then it will serve the demand of the question that how India is playing the leadership role in global South governance. Okay, moving on. India's changes in criminal justice system. So guys, if you are following the news, you might be knowing also. Now this article I took from the Indian Express. So basically what happened recently, three criminal law bills that we introduced in order to replace IPC, CRPC and Indian Evidence Act, they have come in place. Okay, first of all guys, let's discuss little bit background information. So basically what happened, India introduced three new bills, that is भारतीय न्याय संहिता, भारतीय नागरिक सुरक्षा संहिता and भारतीय साक्ष्य अधिनियम. These three bills were introduced to replace Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita would replace IPC, Bharatiya Nagarik Suraksha Samhita would replace Criminal Procedure Code, and Bharatiya Sakshya Samhita will replace the Indian Evidence Act. Now, when we talk about these particular laws, fine, particularly if we talk about the Indian Penal Code, this particular law was drafted way back in 1860s, and it has a lot of colonial hangover. This particular law had a lot of impinges from the police state that the Britishers tried to create. India is right now not a police state, India is a welfareist state, but it has a lot of impinges from the colonial rule. We want to remove all that. So for this particular thing, what happened? We brought these particular three laws. These three bills, they got passed. And now from 1st of July, they have come in place. Okay. Now, what I have done guys here, this entire article I have converted in the tabular manner. What I have done in this particular table, I'll provide you a particular position and its counterpart, its counter. Number one, what I gave you the reason. I gave you the reason that why this particular law bills were introduced in order to decolonize the criminal law in India. I told you that they were passed during the times of the Britishers. So they were brought to decolonize the criminal law. But there are certain concerns. What is the concern? 75% of the provisions. What is the concern? Concern is that 75% of the provisions have been retained from the existing law. So 75% of the laws, now you see this thing. Just the section numbers have changed. Things got reorganized. If it was at this place, you put it this place. If this was, you put it other place. So 75% of the existing provisions, they have been retained. Only 25% things are new. Either they have been dropped or they have been deleted or they have been introduced. But 75% provisions are retained from the existing law. Then there is one section 187. It increases police custody from 15 days to 60 or 90 days. Now guys, often giving enhanced police custody, often it could be used for the political purposes also. For example, in some of a fake case, police can be used as an institution, as an instrument by the ruling government to arrest the political people, politically opposition people. So custody has been, police custody can be given for 60 to 90 days. So it has potential for abuse. The next thing is there are a lot of vague offenses that have been defined. For example, giving false and misleading information, acts which might endanger sovereignty, unity, integrity of India. These are the offenses that have been mentioned. If you see false and misleading information, act endangering sovereignty, what can endanger you? Okay, if let's say there is outside a lot of pollution that is there, that pollution is endangering my health. So this word endangering, and that to such broad things, this should have been dealt with more clearly. It is a very vague definition that has been continued. Then trial in absentia. So what is trial in absentia? Suppose there was a person, Mr. X. On this particular Mr. X, there was some kind of a complaint that was filed. Now this Mr. X has absconding. It has run away. This Mr. X is not available. So can you start a trial on that Mr. X even when he is not present? Now it is provided that trial in absentia is allowed. Allows prosecution and adjudication of trials for the absconding offenders. The one who have committed a crime, one who have committed an offense, if they are on the run, on them the case can be started. Now it leads to a problem. It compromises the accused's right to defend themselves. Fine. Now obviously it will have both angles. Some will say that it was a good thing, somebody might criticize it, but yes, criticism is this, that the person, you see, we always say that a person is believed to be, now natural jurisprudence that we follow in India, a person is innocent until proved guilty. Innocent until proved guilty. So if a person is not there and you take up a trial, how that particular person will defend himself? Then a lot of large parts, old parts have been written already, we have seen. Okay. Now, it is provided that section 358 of Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita says that IPC will continue for offences under IPC. Fine. But there is a, now you see this particular thing. See, already going cases filed before 1st July, it will continue to apply. It creates a lot of confusion. It creates a lot of dissonance. So this is, guys, all about. Fine. The next thing is that institutional readiness. Now we need to see what you have done. We have brought a change at one particular level. Fine, at statutory level, the change has been brought. But are institutions ready to deal with these particular cases? Have you trained police officers that they have a complete knowledge about the new 3 laws? Have you trained police officers? Have you trained the magistrates? Fine. Then timelines, basically there are the, fine. So there are the timelines that have been given. Fine. Different timelines have been given in which you should complete your search, seizure, which is a good thing. Fine. Then fundamental institutional reform is also something that is needed to remove that colonial hangover. Fine. So if simply we are going to change the law, and if you not bringing the mindset change, that is not going to help. Okay. Now further, there are some additional things that I want to tell you. Guys, this particular law might not be helpful if we don't bring the detailed reforms in the police. So police reforms are needed. Now basically what has happened in Prakash Singh case, there were 7 directives that were given. 7 directives that were given by the Supreme Court, and these 7 directives you can use that along with changing the law system. They basically, some other long lasting changes are needed, such as the 7 directives of police reform given by the Supreme Court in Prakash Singh case. Now what are these? Number 1, constitute a state security commission. Fixed a 2-year tenure for DGP, so they have a long stable tenure so that they can bring the positive change. 2-year term for SP and SHO, so again they also have a continuity of tenure and can bring the changes. Separate investigation and law and order function. So police is doing both the things simultaneously. Law and order also they're seeing, and they're doing investigation also. So investigation branch should be alag and the law and order branch should be separate. Set up police establishment board to see the police conduct. Then set up police complaints authority and set up national security commission at center level. Fine. So this is something. Then there was also Padmana Bhaiya committee. It has talked about the 6 weaknesses of Indian police. So if you are writing any question on the police reform, that also you can write what weaknesses they have found in the policing in India. Number 1, delay in the registration of crime. Many number of times FIRs are not being registered. Poor people, particularly from particular religion or caste, they face more. Inappropriate attitude, behavior and mindset. I told you that still police is being driven by the mindset of colonial times, British elitist mindset. That mindset needs to be changed. Perception of lack of fairness. People have this particular perception that police is actually acting on the behest of some vested interest. Either on the interest of politicians police is acting, or police is acting on the behest of the rich people. Actually that has been observed also at certain times. Recently Pune car crash case happened, where it was found that how the police was supporting the twisting of the facts and figures. Okay, so it is found that there is lack of fairness and impartiality. Police is used as an instrument by the political parties. Social elites. Fine. Now, basically, guys, when we talk about the policing actually happens to be the state subject. and therefore often the state governments actually have exerted a lot of control on the police officers. Perception of police being serving the political party in power, and corruption. Okay, culture of bribe taking, corruption, culture of compromise prevails a lot in the policing. So these are the major concerns that we have in the policing. So basically, the application of these particular laws might not magically, miraculously solve the problem. It has to be followed with the comprehensive reformation of laws. Fine. So I hope guys that you have understood it. Okay. Now moving on to the next article. Moving on to the next article. Okay. Urban flooding and Indian cities. So there were multiple articles that were published on the flooding. So as monsoons have got started, so cities have started to flood. And this is something that is observed every year. Every year as monsoons are there, rains are coming, one or the other metropolitan city, it is submerged. So with respect to GS paper 3, GS paper 3 disaster management, urban flooding, this becomes an important issue. Disaster management, urban flooding, this becomes an important issue. Let's discuss it more. Let's discuss it more. Okay. Uh, First of all, guys, what I have done here, I again have not been restricted only to articles that have been published, but I have went beyond, and I'm trying to cover this entire theme of urban flooding that's there, so that if a question, any type of a question that comes from here, you should be capable to address that. Now you see this particular thing, that when we talk about the urban flooding, so urban flooding leads to many problems. So first of all, consequences or problems of urban flooding that we have. Number one, infrastructural damage. It damages roads, bridges, buildings, residential buildings. Then economic impact. So basically, as offices are shut down, as a transportation is shut down, as the tourist places are shut down, it leads to a lot of revenue loss. Industries are shut down, production is not happening, government's revenue will go down. Tourism is not coming, again government's revenue will go down. Fine. Reconstruction costs are there. Fine. Once an infrastructure has been damaged, it needs to be reconstructed, which further leads to a lot of cost. Fine. Then health hazards. So urban flooding leads to a lot of health hazard. What happens? It leads to a lot of waterborne diseases such as malaria, dengue, chikungunya, etc. Basically, mosquitoes, they breed in these particular waters. The next issue that it leads to, is that it contaminates the water supply. So water contained in the reservoirs, it contaminates that particular water supply. Then it leads to the human displacement. Many of the people who are living in those localities which are vulnerable to urban flooding, low-lying areas, largely there are the low-lying areas which are occupied by, obviously there are the encroachments, but who are living in these encroachment? Poor people are living. When their houses get destroyed, they got displaced. Now we have multiple case studies here. On the other hand, in this particular table, we have multiple case studies. We have a case study of Mumbai 2005, which led to a lot of loss of life and property. Okay. Chennai 2015 flooding, again it led to the damage of life and property. Then Kolkata, almost every year some part of the Kolkata is flooded because of the rain. Then Delhi, also it is frequently flooded, overflow of Yamuna River. Recently also a lot of disruption happened in Delhi because of the rains that came recently. Fine. Now, what reforms are needed in urban planning? Now you see, urban flooding is a natural problem, but at the same time it is also a problem because there has not been adequate urban planning that has happened in the past. So there are certain problems. Now reforms are needing in the urban planning, and for that I am going to give you suggestions from the Niti Aayog report. Now first, guys, when we talk about the urbanization, there are certain facts with respect to urbanization that you need to know. Now, by that, you will be understanding that how big urbanization is in India and urban flooding's scale you will be able to understand. So, according to Niti Aayog, India has the second largest urban system in the world. Second largest urban system we have in the world. 11% of global urban population. 11% of the global urban population, where it is living in Indian cities. Fine. At the same time, so a large number of people are living in India. Also, as per Niti Aayog, by 2030, 41% people will live in urban cities in India. Now, these urban cities, they are also important contributor to economy. So, 60% of India's GDP, 16% of India's GDP, it is contributed by urban centers. It is contributed by urban centers. However, during COVID, we found this particular thing that in urban centers, a lot of invisible migrant population is also living, which have not been adequately catered in these urban cities. And we get to know this particular thing when the reverse migration started after the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, so it also, then what has happened? When we talk about the urbanization, we always find this particular thing that a quick fix solution approach has been followed rather than dealing with the long-term problem solving. You see, in urban areas, infrastructure is inadequate, sewage management is inadequate, urban drain management is inadequate, urban centers don't provide good transportation, traffic jam is a big problem. And whenever these problems happen, always policy makers are focused on the quick fixes, band-aid approach, rather than going for the long-term solutions. Niti Aayog report has talked about this. Also, Niti Aayog says that urbanization in India is unacknowledged and unaddressed. Unacknowledged and unaddressed. So basically, it provides that urban planning function from states to elected ULBs don't happen. Fine. The next is that one more problem that we have with respect to urbanization is that we have a lot of agencies which are involved in the urban in a lot of subjects in the urban area. Let me give you an example. Now, flooding as a subject, it is seen by the Public Work Department, PWD. It is also seen by the Flood and Irrigation Department. It is seen by the municipalities, municipal corporations. Municipal corporations, if it is an cantonment board area, then cantonment board, army area, cantonment board also gets involved. So you see, PWD, Flood and Irrigation Department, municipal corporations, all are involved on only one thing, that is the flood management. Because of this overlap, what happens is a diffusion of responsibility happens. A institution will say it is B's responsibility, B will say it is C's responsibility, C will say it is A's responsibility. Diffusion of responsibilities happen. This is one very big problem. 65% of urban settlements in India, they don't have any master plan. They don't have any master plan. And citizen participation, citizen awareness about the urban processes, it is virtually absent. Now, what are the recommendations that can be given in this particular capacity? What are the recommendations that can be given in this particular capacity? Number one, we need to go for the programmatic intervention for planning of healthy cities. You see this thing. We have come out with the different programs. For example, we came with the concept of health city for all by 2020. Life concept was inaugurated in 2021. Now you see, health city for all means how pollution is to be reduced, how the quality of life is to be improved. Life aims to reduce the carbon emissions, Now, we need to bring the programs focusing on multiple issues, and that should be addressed in its comprehensiveness, in its holistic nature. Then we need to ramp up the human resources. A lot of human resource crunch is there with the municipal corporations. They don't have the desired number of officers. They don't have desired number of personals here. So what's needed here? It's needed that there should be the adequate human resource availability. Then re-engineering of urban governance. Now you see this particular thing, guys, that when we talk about the urban governance, municipal corporations, they are working with the age-old rule books. Fine. They are not equipped to deal with the problems in the, basically they don't have the new age solutions for the urban challenges, urban governance. So we need to re-engineer the urban governance. We need to build the institutional capacity. We need to bring the multidisciplinary expertise. So for policy making, we need people from health sector, we need people from social sector, we need people from the other sectors also. We need to invite the think tanks to solve the problems. Revision of Town and Country Planning Acts is needed. Some places Town and Country Planning Acts are very much old. The next is that there is need for collaborative, concerted and cooperative efforts. Okay? Collaboration is needed. Concerted efforts on a particular themes is needed. And then we need to implement the new urban agenda. New urban agenda 2016 that was issued. It has given some excellent prescriptions. It has given some excellent advices with respect to improving the condition in urban life. Then next is national infrastructure pipeline. Now you see this particular thing. Under national infrastructure pipeline, 100 lakh crore rupees. 100 lakh crore rupees will be invested in infrastructure. Now, as we have come out with a dedicated project such as the National Infrastructure Pipeline for Infrastructure, we need to have such a kind of an initiative for the urban governance, for the urban area improvement also. Fine. Then the next is that whole of government approach is needed. Now, under the Pradhan Mantri Gati Shakti initiative, now you see, National Infrastructure Pipeline, it is sometimes also called as the PM Gati Shakti. PM Gati Shakti. Now, under PM Gati Shakti, what is happening? Multiple ministries and departments which are responsible for giving the clearances, they have come together. So, in the same way, multiple ministries and departments which are responsible for improving the conditions of urban areas, they need to come together. You see this thing. Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs is running Smart City. Ministry of Heavy Industries, it is running the FAME scheme for the for EV vehicles. Fine. Then Ministry for Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, it is running the Green City. Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, it is working on pollution. Rather than running the separate components, all ministries need to come together and holistically they need to take the initiatives. Holistically, they need to plan the initiatives. Fine. Moving on further. Okay. Then 15th Finance Commission. 15th Finance Commission has recommended that there should be the grants that are to be given. Separate health grants should be there. Performance based grants should be there. The states which are incubating the new cities, they should be given the separate grants. So 15th Finance Commission has said that separate grants should be given to those particular states which have worked adequately in promoting the green cities. The next is that what is needed to be done. So basically, there should be some entry level conditions. Now you see, municipal corporations, they need to be empowered that they can directly compete with for the grants that are being given by the union, that are being suggested by the Finance Commission. So conditions of the municipal corporations need to be improved so that they can compete for seeking the grant at the union level. Set up the State Finance Commission in the states. Okay, so as we have a Union Finance Commission established under Article 280, so at the level of state Finance Commission is to be established. Many states are not doing it, and the State Finance Commission needs to they are constituting it, but it need to give recommendations at how the urban governance funding can be increased. Okay, provision have both provisional and audited accounts online. A lot of corruption also goes in the urban governance. So audited accounts need to be kept forward. And then minimum floor for property tax. Now you see this thing. Property tax is one important revenue stream, but it has not been utilized that much. Okay. Property tax collection rate in India, they are the lowest in the world as per the OECD, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. So property tax collection rates are also to be improved. Okay. And then for cities with million plus population, 10 plus population, fine, there are performance grants that are to be provided. through Millennium Plus Cities Challenge Fund, which is a dedicated fund. Then moving on, water crisis in India. Water crisis in India. Now, you see this particular thing, guys. This particular article, first of all, it is going to be important with respect to uh, social justice, because getting adequate water, it is a part of one's fundamental right to life. So giving water, good quality water, clean water, it is the component of social justice. Fine. Secondly, in disaster management also this particular dimension could be seen, because water crisis is going to be the biggest disaster that India might face in the coming times. So this particular article we are going to be used for GS paper number 2 as well as GS paper number 3, social justice and disaster issue. Now, basically what has happened recently, a Moody's report was released saying that water shortages can affect the India's credit strength. Why? You see this thing. Water availability is directly linked with the productivity of people, directly linked with the health of the people, directly linked with the even the industrial activity in a country. If the water availability will go down, productivity will go down, people's health will go down, even the industrial activity which needs a lot of water, they will go down. Okay. Now, certain facts I just want to tell you guys here. You see this thing that when we talk about the per capita water availability has declined progressively, not progressively, sorry, regressively since independence. So if we talk about the water availability in 1951, you just compare it. Now data is not to be remembered, but in 1951, 5177 cubic meters water was available per capita. And in 2020, only 1368 cubic meter water is per capita available. So can you see the drastic decline that has happened? Drastic decline that has happened from 5177 to 1368 cubic meter water availability today. And basically, the situation is even more alarming. I have more data and facts to support that. For example, according to Central Groundwater Board, 21 major cities might have no groundwater left by 2030. Delhi, Bangalore, Hyderabad, they will run out of groundwater by 2030. Then 54% of people in India, they are facing high to extreme water stress. They don't have the adequate water availability. Unpredictable water availability is there. Unpredictable monsoon rains are there. Then Niti Aayog releases Composite Water Management Index. Composite Water Management Index. And under this Composite Water Management Index, Niti Aayog assesses that what is the water stress in the different parts of the country. Water stress in different parts of the country. And as per this Composite Water Management Index, Niti Aayog says that 600 million people, they are facing the extreme water stress in India. They are facing extreme water stress in India. Now, here I have provided the problems. I have provided the issues in water management, how these issues are leading to problem and what can be solutions. Now, this particular table will be your ready reckoner on this particular theme. If you need to prepare it, this table is going to be your ready reckoner. So, first of all, over extraction of groundwater. Over extraction of groundwater. What it leads to? It leads to the depletion of water table. It leads to the depletion of water table. Now, what can be solution? We need to promote sustainable groundwater management. Sustainable groundwater management. Only those industries should be allowed to use groundwater where the nature of industry, first of all, we need to see that the industry is crucial. And secondly, industry doesn't has accessibility to any other water resource. Okay. Then focus on recharge techniques. Focus on recharge techniques. We need to have the structure such as the johars, which help in the groundwater recharge. We need to ensure that there are the dedicated places which are not concretized, where the run of water will run and that particular water will seep away. Concretization of the surfaces needed to be reduced so that groundwater can be recharged. The next is inefficient water management is a big problem. Okay. Municipal pipelines, they are leaking. Because of that, a lot of water is getting lost. Fine. In agriculture, there's inefficient water usage that is there. So in agriculture, modern irrigation techniques drip irrigation, sprinkler irrigation, fine humidity sensors, soil humidity sensors are needed to be deployed so that the better water usages in agriculture sector can be done. Next is water pollution is a very big problem. Industrial discharge, sewage directly are being released in the rivers. By that, the quality of water, dissolved oxygen in the river water, etc. has declined. So what needs to be done? Strict pollution control regulations need to be enforced. The point pollution points needed to be curbed. Water before releasing in the nearby water body needs to be purified, needs to be treated. Investment need to be done in the sewage water management. Investment needs to be done in the sewage management. Then climate change is leading to the reduced water availability. In fact, recently there was a WISE report, WISE, WISE report that was released for the Hindu Kush Himalaya region. It was said that the glaciers volume in the Hindu Kush Himalayas is going down. So climate change, it is disturbing the precipitation, rainfall patterns, glaciers. So therefore, we need to do? Climate resilient water management practice. We need to learn those particular practices, that how even by the reduced water resources one can survive, one can live. Then deforestation and urbanization. So basically, because of the deforestation, water cycle gets disrupted, and because of urbanization, what is happening? Groundwater recharge is getting impacted, because of urbanization, a lot of concretization will happen, and because of that concretization, groundwater recharge will get impacted. So what we need to do? We need to promote afforestation, sustainable urban planning. The next issue that we have is that inadequate infrastructure. Okay, insufficient storage of water, insufficient treatment of water. So again, invest in water infrastructure, give the more funding to urban bodies. Okay, now guys, here just what you can do, you can take down these particular notes. Just one additional static component I have provided: traditional water conservation methods. For example, johars are the small earthen bodies for rainwater storage, as well as they act as check dams. So johars, baulis, akhad pine system, kund, jabu system. Fine, these are the indigenous technologies for water management, not the part of that article that I am discussing, but one additional content I have given you here. Then guys, further you see this particular thing, that what can be the solutions? What can be the solutions? Okay, administrative solution and management solutions that we have. Yes, solutions, administrative solution and management solutions. Number one, we need to focus on integrated water resource management. Integrated water resource management. Now you see this particular thing: water resources, groundwater, water in river, fine water in lake. They are not to be treated as a separate component. Groundwater, land-based water, they need to be treated as a common component. Okay, so management of water needs to be done. Then water resources, land resources, and other economic resources also needs to be accounted when the resource management is being done. The next thing is decentralized water governance. The local communities, panchayats, fine civil societies need to be given bigger say that how water conservation is to be done, because they have age-old strategies to deal with the water scarcity. Then we need to strengthen the legal frameworks. Okay, so basically we need to strictly enforce the laws to reduce pollution. If there is a water wastage being taken up by commercial or residential industries, there needs to be the adequate fines. So legal laws should be used to reduce the pollution, to reduce the over extraction of water, encroachment which are happening on the wetlands, etc. Then public private partnerships are needed to be explored to develop the water infrastructure. We discussed a few minutes back that how the adequate sewage infrastructure is not there in a lot of cities. So PPP model can be used, and data driven decision. So basically remote sensing, Internet of Things should be used for managing the water resources in real time. Managing water resources in real time. That is all guys about it. Now here guys, what I have done, I have given you a list also. Here I have given you a list also of the different government initiatives on the water management. Let's see them briefly. We have Jal Jeevan Mission. Now, Jal Jeevan Mission aims to provide the functional household tap connection to every household by 2024. Every household should have a tap connection, and minimum they should get 55 liter per capita water. Then mission for Clean Ganga is operating it. Then Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana. It focuses, it works on the philosophy of per crop more drop. Per crop more drop. Now, Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana, what it aims? Fine. Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana, it was launched in 2015 to develop irrigation, to develop micro irrigation, micro irrigation, so that water availability, water usages in the agriculture can be improved. Then next is National Water Mission. The National Water Mission was launched as a part of National Action Plan on Climate Change, where there were the 8 missions that were launched. The National Water Mission focuses on the effective conservation of water. Then there is a Jal Shakti Abhiyan. Jal Shakti Abhiyan. Now, Jal Shakti Abhiyan was launched way back in 2019 to make water conservation a Jan Andolan. Include people so that the people can move forward. People can move forward for the water saving. Then MG Narega. Now, MG Narega, here basically for the revival of water bodies, for the revival of the ponds, etc. Initiatives are taken. Rainwater harvesting initiatives are taken. National Hydrology Project is there, which aims to improve the quality and accessibility of water resources. And then there is the Catch the Rain campaign for conserving the rainwater. So, launched under whom? Jal Shakti Abhiyan. So, it focuses on the rainwater harvesting, rainwater conservation. Now, point is that only one line you need to know about it. Only one line you need to know about it. Guys, one thing is that, see, I am really disheartened by seeing the uh, participation on this particular initiative, because if you see the quality of notes and if you just see the effort that we are putting in making these particular notes, fine, you'll just if you you can understand, but the participation has been very much less, which actually is really discouraging, and it pushes us to reconsider the continuation of this particular initiative. Anyhow, let's move on and let's see how the things go on. Climate change and agriculture, then this particular article I am going to take for GS paper number 3, climate change and agriculture, because both of these two themes are important in the GS paper number 3. Now, basically, guys, if you see what has happened, climate change. So it is said that the climate change, it is impacting the small farmers, and it impacts small farmers the most. It impacts small farmers the most. So if you see what has happened, extreme weather events have increased, flood, cyclones, fine, monsoon patterns are changing, heat waves are going at high intensity. All these things have a negative impact on agriculture. If water availability will go down, what will happen? It will impact agriculture. If heat waves are there, they'll destroy the agriculture crops. Drought, flood, again impact on the agriculture crops. So climate change has a very big and a negative impact on climate change. So let's discuss that and let's see that how the different aspects of temperature and climate, they have an impact on agriculture. Moving on. First is the temperature change. So you see that temperature change can lead to high heat stress in crops. It lead to high heat stress in livestock. It can affect the harvest. It can affect the maturing of the crops. It can affect the maturing of the crops. It can alter the growing seasons. Growing seasons either can extend or growing seasons can reduce. Okay. So this is a problem. Temperature, it creates the stress on plant varieties. It creates a stress on the livestock. What can be solution? Solution is to develop the heat tolerant crop varieties through genetic engineering, through developing the better quality seeds, or by using the native varieties of plants, native varieties of crops. What we need to do? We need to We need to develop specific, by using the native varieties, we need to develop a particular type of varieties. Then, erratic rainfall patterns, changing monsoon patterns. What we need to do? We need to invest in the rainwater harvesting. Rainwater harvesting, so that the rainwater can be used in the lean period. Also, secondly, what we need to do? We also need to enhance the water efficient irrigation system. Fine. Earlier, I discussed it with you that sprinkler and drip irrigation systems are the ones which are most effective in terms of the water, in terms of the saving of the water. So we need to invest in such kind of systems. Then next, a minute. Okay. Then next is, there are extreme weather events, flood, drought, cyclones. What we need to do? We need to invest in resilient infrastructure, as well as we need to develop the early warning systems. Then soil degradation is going on. Because of the usage of a lot of chemicals, and that soil degradation, it leads to the reduced soil fertility. Soil degradation also leads to high land salinization. Soil degradation also leads to the desertification, all these problems. What we need to do? We need to follow agroforestry. Along with the agriculture, certain trees should be planted. We should go for organic fertilizers, better water management practices, so that the water salinization, land salinization doesn't happen. Why salinization becomes a big problem? Salinization becomes a problem because of the fact that often lot of excess water is used in irrigation. So how to do that? We need to use the Internet of Things. We need to use the sensors which can sense the water, we need to use sensor which can sense the humidity levels in the soil. And on the basis, if a humidity level goes beyond a particular level, then only the sprinklers and the drip irrigation should not get activated. So we need to use the technology so that excess water is not given. We need to use organic and organic fertilizers and agroforestry also to be used. Then pests and disease. Now warmer temperatures as we have, warm temperatures, they help in the infestation of the pest and disease. So therefore, integrated pest management, biological controls, biological pesticides are to be used, because the chemical pesticides might have a negative impact on human health. Then, fine, water scarcity point already we have discussed. Livestock and fisheries. So high heat stress, fine, it is also impacting the quality of water. Fine, it is also impacting the quality of water. By that heat stress, it affects the livestock, as well as as water temperature increases, pH level affects the fish population. So what we need to do? Again, heat tolerant livestock breeds, sustainable aquaculture. Okay, pond aquaculture in controlled circumstances need to be increased. Then finally, economic and social impacts are there. Fine, agriculture, crop failures happened because of the disasters and all such kind of things. So in this capacity, what is to be done? We need to provide comprehensive crop insurance. We already have Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, in which at the rate of 1.5%, 2% and 5%, insurance is provided to the farmer. This is something that is to be done. Okay. Now, when we talk about the climate and how it is impacting the agriculture, one type of farmers are the most impacted one. Which type of farmers are the most impacted one? Marginal farmers. And here we have the report by the Forum of Enterprises for Equitable Development. So report by the Forum of Enterprises for Equitable Development, what it provides? Marginal farmers are the most impacted by the climate change. And 60% of the marginal farmers, they have suffered crop losses due to extreme weather. Okay? Even the productivity of the soil has come down. Fine. Wheat production has fallen for the third consecutive year. 50%, the paddy cultivation, wheat crop cultivation is going down. Okay? Now, beyond this, I will not advise you too much to go in the numbers, but only the reference of report is very much important for you. Which report? Which report? Report by the FEED, Forum for Enterprises for Equitable Development. What it says that majority of the farmers who are getting suffered by climate change are the marginal farmers. Now here we have some of the initiatives that have been undertaken by the government of India. Now what are the initiatives that have been taken by government? Number one we have here is PM Kisan. PM Kisan. Now PM Kisan provides 6,000 rupees of income support to the farmers, so that the farmer can use this particular income to buy high quality inputs such as a seed, fertilizer, etc. So PM Kisan 6,000 rupees is provided. Then Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, it provides a comprehensive crop insurance so that the farmers who have faced losses because of the disasters, etc., they can cover those losses. Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana is there, which aims to provide the irrigation facilities to the farmers, so water efficient irrigation. Then soil health card scheme is there, under which the farmer can understand the soil nutrient status, and on the basis of understanding the soil nutrient status, they are also recommended what is the appropriate dosages of the nutrients. Then next there is ENAM. There is ENAM, that is Electric National Agriculture Market. Now this is an online trading platform where farmers can sell their produce wherever they are getting the good price. Then next is Agriculture Infrastructure Fund. So what is agriculture infrastructure? It provides the long-term debt financing for the post-harvest infrastructure. Now you see, once a farmer has harvested the wheat, now farmer want to sell that particular wheat and will go to the market, but all the farmers are coming to market at the same time. Because of that, what will happen? You will not get a better price, because when supply is so much and demand is static, price will crash. So basically what we need to do, we need to develop the post harvest infrastructure. Once the farmer has harvested the crop, there should be the facilities, there should be the place where he can store his crop. That is something that's needed. So Agriculture Infrastructure Fund provides funding for developing the warehouses, storage facilities, post harvest infrastructure. Then next we have is Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana. Now what Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana? It promotes the organic agriculture, growing of agriculture without the application of chemical fertilizers, etc. Then National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture is there, which aims to enhance the agricultural productivity in rain-fed areas. Now what are the rain-fed areas? Rain-fed areas are the ones which don't have the irrigation, they depend on the rain for their water needs. Okay, so this is guys all about it. I hope that you have understood it. Now moving on, and the next article that we have here is about the lithium, India's EV sector and challenges. Lithium, India's EV sector and challenges. Lithium, India's EV sector and challenges. Now you see this particular thing, guys, what is happening? There is the sign of progress of lithium in Chhattisgarh. Earlier, good news came with respect to the lithium from Jammu and Kashmir, where the reserves of lithium were found in the Riyasi region of Jammu and Kashmir. Riyasi region of Jammu and Kashmir. Now, for GS3, EV sector, issues related to Indian economy. This article is going to be an important one. Now, first of all, when we talk about lithium is a silvery white kind of a material which is used for lithium ion batteries. Now, lithium ion batteries, they are used because of their high energy density. They can store high energy, they have long life, okay, and they can be recharged a lot of times. So therefore, lithium ion batteries today are being used in mobile phones, in your computers, in the cars also. Now, when we talk about the EVs, electric vehicles, fine, more than 50% of the cost of an EV is because of its battery component. And for that battery, we need the lithium. So if we want to become EV hub, we want to have these lithium ion batteries, we need to have lithium. Now, when we talk about the lithium, majority of the reserves of lithium are found in the lithium triangle. So this lithium triangle It is situated in South America. And this lithium triangle, this is the lithium triangle. It includes Chile, Bolivia, and Argentina. Chile, Bolivia, and Argentina. Now, India, in order to promote the EV, has come out with multiple schemes, and the majority of the most important one is the FAME scheme. FAME scheme. Now, FAME scheme phase 1 was launched in 2015 and phase 2 was launched in 2019. Now, under the FAME scheme, India will focus on research and development in the EV vehicles, will focus on developing the charging infrastructure, will focus on absorption of the EV vehicles in public transportation. So, buses, three-wheelers, four-wheelers, two-wheelers will be promoted. There is also National Electric Mobility Mission Plan that is there, which aims that 6 to 7 hybrid and electric vehicles should be there on by 2020. But what is the problem? Problem is not the EV targets. Problem is the availability of lithium. So challenges that we find here in the lithium, number one challenge is the availability of lithium as a resource. But beyond the availability of lithium as a resource, there are many other challenges also that we have. Number one is limited domestic reserves. I already told you. Fine. Majority reserves are in Australia. Now see, Australia, Chile, Argentina, they are the big producers. Therefore, now see, one problem is connected with the other problem. Because of the limited domestic resource, there is a lot of import dependence. There's a lot of import dependence on the lithium. And because of that, India is vulnerable to market fluctuation, disruptions that happen. The next is environmental concern. Now, we are saying that EVs are clean. And we are saying that choosing EV is an environmentally conscious, environmentally sensitive choice. But with respect to EVs also, there are multiple challenges. And the biggest challenge that we have is with respect to EVs, extraction of lithium is a polluting activity. Processing of lithium is again leads to a lot of carbon emission. And finally, electricity that will be used to charge these lithium-ion batteries, it might also have its own carbon footprint. So effectively, carbon footprint in this lithium might be more. So lithium mining, extraction, water depletion are the challenges. High production cost. So lithium extraction is high cost activity. In fact, I told you that 50% of the cost of a EV vehicle, it is because of the battery that it has installed in it. So high production and extraction cost we have. Then in India, even we are getting some of the lithium reserves, let's say in Chhattisgarh, in Riyasi, Jammu and Kashmir, but we don't have a technology, adequate infrastructure for lithium mining and processing. Expertise and technology is not there. So these are the challenges. That India is facing with respect to the lithium. Okay. Then there are some other challenges also that we have here. Fine. Lack of regulation and policy. Now you see this particular thing. Okay, that we don't have clear-cut policies with respect to encouraging the investment in lithium or the lithium mining in India. So we need to have a very clear policies. We need to invite the foreign players who have expertise. Then global competition with respect to the lithium is going on. So lithium availability for India. See, lithium resource around the world is very much less. And every country is competing for that. So India might not get its fair resources of lithium. Then recycling and waste management is a very big. So the batteries, once they have been used, when they come to the end of their life, how to recycle, how to reprocess them. And then geopolitical risk, already I have discussed you that we are always dependent on some other country. Now, what are the steps that have been taken by the Indian government in direction of lithium? Number one, we have signed international partnerships with multiple countries to secure our lithium supplies. Now, we have signed partnership with Bolivia, Argentina, Chile. so that they can provide us sustainable supply of lithium. Secondly, domestic exploration also we are working on. I told you in Riyasi and Chhattisgarh, we are finding some reserves. And also what India is focusing upon, India is focusing on the collaborations. We are providing the blocks available to the private sector so that they can identify the lithium reserves in India. Then we are pushing the battery manufacturing in India. We are pushing the battery manufacturing in India with the domestic manufacturers, so that once we got the lithium, we need not to import the battery components. Then research and development is being supported under the FAME scheme. Research and development is being, now there can also be the solid state batteries that can be used. Now solid state batteries are even more durable, So the research is going on. And then finally, government has given the policy support, incentives for the adoption of EV. Under FAME scheme, already we have seen that under the FAME scheme, for the adoption of EV, there is the support that is being given. Okay. And for the recycling, government is coming out with the policy measures for effective recycling also. So these are all the initiatives that India has taken up in this particular capacity. Fine. So guys, I hope that you have you have been able to understand all these particular related issues that we have. Now moving on, and we have one more article here, that is justice issues and challenges in India. Justice issues and challenges in India. GS paper number 2, judiciary related issues. GS paper number 2, judiciary related issues. Now, recently there was one article that came that Supreme Court is going to use the AI, artificial intelligence, to categorize the cases in Supreme Court. Artificial intelligence. Now, you see this particular thing, guys, that at multiple places, just a minute. Fine. So, see this particular thing, that at multiple places, we find that the AI, technology, etc. can be utilized. And utilization of technology can ease the justice availability. It can improve the justice availability. Okay, so in this particular article, we are going to see an overview about the problems associated with judiciary and the possible solutions that can be there. So I am sure that by covering this particular article, your theme on the judiciary will get absolutely clear. So let's discuss. Now, first of all, you see, when we talk about the judiciary, there is a huge backlog of cases in the Indian courts. Around 3.5 crore cases are pending. Around 3.5 crore cases are pending in judiciary. Because of this, there are many problems that happen. Justice gets delayed. Then there is a problem of access to justice also. You see this particular thing, that many people are not able to access justice. Many challenges are there. Many number of times they are not able to afford a lawyer. Judicial services sometimes are very much expensive for some people. Sometimes, for example, let's take example of Supreme Court. Supreme Court is in Delhi. It becomes very difficult for the people from South India, from Northeast India, for West India, that they can come to Supreme Court for every hearing. So disparities in the accessing of legal services in rural people, marginalized communities, sometimes because of economic constraints, sometimes because of the lack of awareness, sometimes because of the non-availability of judicial infrastructure in the nearby area, they face problem. Now, government is moving towards the judicial reforms, digitization of court processes, alternative dispute resolution, lok adalats, etc. we have come out with, so that petty offenses, for example, can be taken up by the lok adalats. Fast track courts we are developing, but actually they have not helped that much. Fine. Actually, it has not helped that much. Now, here, just if I show you the pendency of cases, first of all. Now, first of all, if we talk about the pendency of cases, you see this particular thing that that half of all the cases in High Court are pending for 3 years. Half of all the cases in High Court are pending for 3 years. 87% cases are pending in district courts. Now, often it is said that high case pendency is because of the judicial activism. Judiciary invites a lot of cases to itself. But 87% cases are pending in the district courts. Poorly drafted orders are leading to the contested tax revenue. Now you see this thing. There are many tax matters that reach to the judiciary. There are many tax matters that reach to the judiciary. In these particular matters, clear rulings are not there. Or on the tax matters in general, clear rulings are not there. Because of that, tax litigations are there. Fine. A lot of government revenue is struck in the litigations, which is equivalent to 4.7% of GDP. 7.8 lakh crore rupees of revenue government is not able to get because people have petitioned on that in the different courts. Matter are stuck in the court. Government litigation relating to tax success rate is 30%. Where there is a tax dispute going on between government or some corporate or government or some individual, government success rate is just 30% in such kind of litigations. Okay. Average disposal of case by each judge is 746. These cases are being disposed by every judge. Fine. So therefore, guys, what are the way out in these particular kind of matters? What are the way out in this particular matter? Number one, in order to enhance access to justice, I told you that many number of times the justice is not accessible. What needs to be done? Technologies are to be used. Online dispute resolution. Traveling, particularly when you are traveling for the Supreme Court litigation, if it is now, see, Supreme Court is in Delhi. People from South India, West, East, Northeast might find it very difficult, might be very expensive for them to travel. So online dispute resolution is there so that the parties need not to travel, and it will lead to a lot of cost saving for them. For efficiency and cost saving, automation in the court processes need to be done. AI, machine learning should be used for the basic trivial tasks which are being performed by the judicial officers. For example, for document review, case management, legal research, AI can be used. A lot of human time, man hours it can save. Then predictive analytics for decision making. Predictive analytics for decision making. Now, what do we mean by this predictive analysis for decision making? So, as the court is moving, as the case is moving, AI can analyze the final outcome of a case, and AI can tell that outcome to all the parties. So, parties can now, you see, let's say a particular case is like this, that the case has all the evidence against a party, but still the parties are dragging that particular case. 99% it is sealed that what outcome will be there. So rather than dragging that particular case, there can be some swift settlement that can be done by the parties if it is not that a heinous crime. So predictive analytics can be used. It can lead to more informed decisions. Virtual reality should be used in courtrooms for examining the evidences, etc. So for better examining the evidences, rather than showing them the 2D image, virtual reality can be used. Legal education training can be improved. Legal education and training can be better, training can be given for the future, to the future legal practitioners, legal professionals. AI is to be integrated, machine to machine communication is to be machine learning is to be integrated in judicial processes, and at the same time legal professionals, legal practitioners need to be given the knowledge and awareness with respect to these particular technologies. Then there are some other generic solutions that are also there which can be used. We need to fast track the code processes. We need to have the fast track courts. Sorry, my apologies. So fast track courts we are having. Now fast track courts, for example, fast track courts for rape matters, fast track court for dealing with the matters related to the scheduled caste people. These are an ad hoc solution. Rather we fast tracking a particular category of cases, we need to fast track the entire judicial process. 30% life of a case is spent in simple things such as serving of a notice. A notice will be served, it will take some time. A party will not come, time is wasted. Then again notice will be served, party will not come, time is being wasted. So 30% time in the life of a case is wasted because of the serving of a notice. We need to find some digital processes for that. We need the procedural changes. We need to fix timelines for every process. Fine. If those timelines are not adhered, the case will be decided. Then AI, blockchain can be used for better monitoring of the cases. Fine. We should have a facility to allow registration of petitions online. Okay. as far as possible, e-court mission that was brought, which aimed to bring the paperless court, it needs to be implemented. Wherever possible, digital documents, digital copies are to be uploaded, because it is environmentally more friendly. Also, it leads to the better management of the records and documentation in courts. So these are all the way forwards that are to be done in this particular direction. Fine. So guys, I hope that you have understood it. And with this, we come to an end to this particular session. Guys, I expect that you have liked this particular video. Thank you so much.